My name's Kylie, and I'm proof that white people can change. I grew up around a lot of conservative people, whether that was extended family, the parents of friends, or simply the town that I was raised in. I used to believe a woman shouldn't have sex till she's ready to have a baby. Insane. I was anti-LGBTQ. I was extremely religious and devout and tried to fit in with all of the other white people that I was around. I simply inherited the beliefs of those around me and became what my environment was. But I broke out of it, and that's why I make my content, because I know that it's fully possible for other white people to do the same. Is it fucking scary? Yes, because your entire way of life as a white conservative is tied up in politics and religion. So it can be very difficult to leave. You have to reevaluate your entire sense of self, what you like to do, and who you are fundamentally. But I did it. Why? Education, exposure to different perspectives, and a love of learning. Books genuinely pulled me out of this bubble, truly. Also realizing I was queer and liked women definitely helped, but I repressed that shit until college. Point being, you can change. If you're a white person seeing this, it is possible. It's scary, but I did it, and I am so much happier now. It is so much better to think for yourself. Go read a book. You got this.
What do you mean you didn't know? I am being so sincere right now because I truly want to understand how it is possible that in this day and age where we have access to any piece of information that we want in our hands, and we have 40 years of history that we can look back on for this individual, where a scenario exists that you legitimately wouldn't know. There have been dozens of women who have made allegations of SA that span 4 decades. There's video, pictures, audio, testimonies, flight logs. He has been held accountable in court for one of those essays. Where's the confusion? This is also an individual that has a history of conning people, not paying people. He's been in court hundreds of times over the last 4 decades. And I think he's lost about 92% of these lawsuits because he, in fact, does scam and cheat people. He has been found guilty of fraud in a court of law on 30 however many counts. Where's the confusion? Why are you not connecting that all of those things that span 40 years are the same exact person that is now in the White House right now? Where's the disconnect? And beyond that, where was the confusion about his policies? He told you what he was going to do. There's a 900-page manifesto. I know he said that, no, I don't know anything about that. But before the election, I asked, what is the difference between the policies that he's presenting and he's owning up to and the policies in Project 2025? I never got an answer because they were in fact the same. What he was saying out loud as the policies that he wanted to implement was what was in Project 2025. Yet we were told, no, that's not the case. How did you not know? I want to understand.
So I'm curious to something with the people who regret their vote to Trump, the MAGA regrets, as I saw it. Are y'all sorry because it, actually hurt a ton of people? Or are you just sorry because it directly affects you? I have seen so many people say that they regret it and they were stupid and all this, but I have yet to see a single video, which maybe it's out there and I just haven't seen it yet. But I haven't seen a damn thing about people apologizing for how you treated other people when it came to this election. The amount of names that I was called just because I wasn't in the know on all the bullshit that Trump was doing at that moment, y'all didn't even know. I'd like to make that very clear. Y'all didn't even know. You came in my comments before the election and you were arguing over what Trump was doing and what Kamala was doing. And it was split 50-50. Y'all were going at it because you had no idea. At the end of the day, you had no idea either. And you called other people all kinds of names for how stupid they were, that they couldn't see how amazing Daddy was and not wanting to vote for Daddy. And the reason I'm also asking this is because I just happened to see a comment from another lady in my own state, which disgusts me to no end. And she said that women are not losing their rights. And if they are, she doesn't have her fallopian tubes, so it doesn't affect her at all, and in which case it doesn't really matter. Now, sweetheart, aren't you such a lovely peach? That's the exact behavior of MAGA that I expect even out of people who regret their vote, though. You're only sorry because it affects you. And let me tell you something on the term of women's rights and women's health. Sweet pea, I don't have a uterus, but I still have my ovaries, and I have still been warned that I could technically get pregnant, because if I sleep with a man whose swimmers haven't been, then one could make its way through the little hole, and I could still get pregnant because I still ovulate. So I still think it really does affect you, because I bet that could happen to you too. So maybe you should be concerned. Now, obviously, that's very, very rare. I'm not that stupid. It's still very, very rare, but it still does happen. So maybe you should take it a little bit more seriously, and it's in your best interest to not be so rude about it. But I'm serious. Those who regret it, do you regret it just because it affects you? Or do you regret because you realize how much shit you just let happen, and we're only on the second month? We haven't even made it a full month with this guy yet, and we have 4 fucking years. And everybody's throwing a tantrum still in MAGA, like, oh, just go ahead and impeach him. See what happens. We know nothing's going to happen. He's already been impeached, what, twice? And he's still here. So how about you calm yourselves? Because even if he gets impeached a 3rd time, I highly doubt he's going anywhere. Calm down.
Yeah, I want to jump on the bandwagon of saying that I regret my vote for Trump. My whole family does. My husband and I own a farm in Ohio that was funded through the Inflation Reduction Act, which Biden signed into law. And now the executive orders from Trump are rolling back all of that funding for us. So now we can no longer afford our farm. And when all that happened, it was like a lightning bolt hit my brain. And I realized that I shouldn't just be voting for myself, that Trump's policies and EOs are hurting millions of people. But it took it affecting me personally to understand what I had done was wrong. And I think it's really important for anyone to come out who voted for him and is now negatively impacted by the executive orders, or maybe you have friends or family, especially in minority communities, who are being very heavily impacted by what's going on right now. So yeah, I think it's time for us to stop being so selfish maybe, and to vote for what's best for the country instead of just in our tiny little bubble, because we're all in the same boat now and we're all equally screwed by our new president.
If you feel hopeless right now, I'm here to say some Trump supporters are actually regretting their votes. Estimates as high as 1 in 4 people who voted for Trump regret their votes. And on anonymous forums like Reddit, people have poured out their feelings about how much they regret voting for him. People like farmers who have been upset that they're not getting support and money is going to Argentina instead of them. Young voters who feel manipulated by the MAGA movement. And centrists who aren't necessarily committed to a political party have all expressed serious remorse over their vote. The fact that people are admitting that they're not happy with the election and the way things have been with Trump is a serious step in the right direction. As you know, in most cults, people who speak out against the leader are seriously punished. They're ostracized and experience a lot of hostility, which typically prevents them from speaking out in the first place. So although it may feel hopeless and like fascism has been descending upon us for a few years, there actually is a sign of some progress. That's why it's so important to have conversations with these people. If you're a white person and you have family who are Trump supporters, this is a really good time to try to get through to them, especially because a lot of Republicans want the Epstein files to be released, which could be used as a way to find common ground with them and convince them to not be MAGA anymore. We still have a long way to go, but the fact that his approval rating is dropping is a serious sign of good news.
It took less than a year of Donald Trump's second term before MAGA completely crumbled. And we all knew this was going to happen. We just didn't know when. This is a post from a very popular conservative creator on Twitter. Over 100,000 followers, with pictures of people burning their MAGA gear. What a sad ending to something we worked so hard for. And here's yet another former Trump supporter with over 300,000 followers on Twitter. And just like that, MAGA was done. Yet another creator with over 200,000 followers. I'm going to be on whatever side this isn't, in reference to Donald Trump having a hissy fit over Marjorie Taylor Greene. And there are so many other major creators all over social media turning on Donald Trump right now. What took them so long to realize that he is a terrible person, a terrible president? I don't know. And don't get me wrong, there are still people out there that still support Donald Trump, even after all of these emails got released. Wild, I know. But we are seeing for the first time MAGA truly crumbling right in front of our eyes.
I have a couple comments and a prediction on this MAGA regret thing that seems to be trending. First off, we told you so for years what he's intending to do. We kept saying Project 2025 and you kept saying no. We kept saying dictatorship and you kept saying no. We kept saying he doesn't care about you. He just cares about your votes. And you kept saying, he was joking. And a lot of you are realizing we were right. And then there's a lot of you who think that Donald Trump should give you an exception to what everybody else is going through because you voted for him. And you're thinking that Trump is going to make stipulations in executive orders because he's not going legislatively. This is all executive orders. That he's going to make a stipulation saying, well, if you voted for me, then this doesn't affect you. And therein lies my prediction that he'll toy with that idea and perhaps even put in that rule. But then again, he just cared about their vote. He didn't really care about them. Neither do I.
I spoke with a Trump voter who regrets their vote, and this is a story time about how I did not behave in the best way possible. We were talking, she says, oh, I regret it so much. I was at the airport checking in, she was helping me check in my dog, and she tells me that she regrets it, that this is a nightmare what's happening, because I guess in the airport she also sees what's happening. And I told her, why? I was trying to engage, like, why'd you vote? Why didn't you vote for Kamala? Why'd you vote for him? Being a Hispanic Latina woman that she is, I'm always shocked, and I shouldn't be, and surprised. And she tells me, no, it's, I didn't like her laugh. I didn't like the way she laughed. And then I lost my shit. You didn't like the way she fucking laughed? What's wrong with you? Why don't you say the real reason? Why don't you say the real reason? I go, but now you regret it. Because I'm sure you have family members that are impacted by this too. It's just, I behaved in a way that's not like me. I'm not that, type of person. I try to be open. I try to be kind. But I couldn't. I lost my shit. I'm not proud of the way I behaved. But I couldn't stomach speaking to her anymore. And I have to check myself because that was the wrong way to behave. It was the wrong way to behave. I shouldn't have behaved that way. I should have. And it took me a bit to make this video because I was ashamed of my behavior. But I think all of us that voted the right way, that didn't vote for this nightmare, need to maybe be a little bit more understanding and open to the people that did vote this way and that regret it and that now kind of see the error of their ways. And it's easy to blame them. It's easy to just say, fuck yourself because you're responsible for this. But we need to be able to bring these people back into the fold, or else this is never going to change, So I doubt she'll ever see this because I'm not that big on TikTok. But if you do, ma'am, I apologize for the way I yelled at you and for the way I behaved towards you when you told me that, because I could tell in your face that you felt regret about it. And I should have behaved with grace, and I didn't. And I behaved poorly, and I apologize for that. And let's try and have a dialogue with these people that are now seeing the light, that they didn't expect these type of she says, I never thought he would do this. He said he was just going to deport criminals. And I just thinking about the shit she says gets me angry, but she's changed her mind. And now she wishes she had voted for her. Now she wishes she had voted differently. And I know you can't cry over spilled milk, but our behavior towards them needs to, at least the ones, not the ones that are still in the cult, but the ones that are coming out of it, we need to welcome them. And we need to realize we need them in order to hopefully change things in the midterms. And my behavior didn't help that, because I'm sure I looked like a crazy, deranged person when I was, losing my shit on this woman. But I was angry, and I know we're all angry, and I know we're still angry. But if we start behaving with a little bit more grace, then and a dialogue, then maybe we can have some change, because we need everyone united. And I think when hopefully people start waking up now that this isn't a right versus left thing. This is a top versus bottom thing. This is literally the oligarchs and the billionaire class versus everyone else. And newsflash, you're not an oligarch and you're not a billionaire. I know a lot of you MAGA cultists like to think, oh, I'm with them and I'm going to be one of them one day. You're not. So stop, licking their boots so much. That's it. That's my story. I just, like I said, if this woman's out there and sees it, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm glad you see the light, and I hope you vote accordingly from now on. And please forgive my hair. I'm growing out my grays, so it looks kind of shitty now. But I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Let's have some grace, and let's not, go with our gut reaction, which is, telling them, what the fuck were you thinking? Let's be understanding, and let's remember that not everyone is as informed as we'd hope they are. And I think a lot of people are getting more informed now because of the consequences of what's happening. That's it. That's my story. Hope everyone has a nice day. And let's have some grace.